the meeting to order for Thursday, December 20th. Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin's absent. Mr. Spence?
Here.
Mrs. Foreman?
Here.
Ms. Administrator?
Present.
Mayor?
Here.
Solicitor's not present. Fiscal officer's present. Mr. Merriman?
Here.
Mr. Mattern?
Here.
Mr. Dakenkolb?
Here.
Everyone, please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion be in order to approve the minutes of our November 15th meeting.
So moved.
Second. Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman?
I'll abstain.
Mr. Merriman?
Yeah.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakenkolb?
Yay.
Is there anyone like to speak before council tonight? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Reading of ordinances. Unfortunately, it's not in your packet. I spoke to Mr. Becker just a little bit ago. We need to pass ordinance number 2018-15. I'll have the first read, even though it's not in your packet. You will have it. He said he'll have it available for us tomorrow. Basically, it reads to approving our temporary budget for the year of 2019 with an estimated revenue of $8,313,626. Budget $8,313,626. Again, per the auditors, we've always done a true budget at the end of the year. They stated we need to do a temporary so we can review the dollars and cents in the first quarter as they come in and actually have a true final budget, before the end of March. So I'm asking for council to suspend the rules, so we can approve this tonight.
So moved. Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yeah.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakenkolb?
Yay.
Second read, ordinance number 2018-15, temporary budget appropriation for 2019, estimated budget of $8,313,626 in revenue, budgeted out $8,313,626. Also, third read, temporary budget 2018-15 for appropriations for the year of 2019. Estimated revenue, $8,313,626. Estimated budget of $8,313,626. Motion be in order to approve 2008-15.
2018-15, so moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakenkolb?
Yay.
Thank you. The village will not shut down. That's a good thing. That's all I have. We were going to bring a couple others, but we will wait for January when you have those prepared for us. Okay? Reports and announcements. Chief, can you please come forward?
Good evening. I'd like to introduce Officer Joe McLaughlin, our newest full-time officer. I want to ask, after I read his bio, that his probationary pay be foregone.
Did we not do that already? At the last meeting? Did you remember? We did not? I thought we did.
I thought we had.
Okay.
I thought we started
I wasn't here at that meeting.
Yeah, I
so-
believe
I'm not
we
sure.
did.
Okay, all right. I'll give you a little bit about Joe. He's a 1998 graduate of Hawking College with a degree in Ranger Services, 1997 graduate of the Federal Law Enforcement Academy for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and National Park Service, 1998 graduate of APATA. Joe has served in law enforcement for the past 20 years in various capacities with several organizations here in Ohio. He has experience in Road Patrol, education, investigations, and supervision. Prior to coming to Wintersville, Joe was a 15-year employee of the Muskingum Watershed Conservation District, spending the last 5 years of his career as Deputy Chief Parks. He was responsible for all park operations that encompassed a 20-county area here in Ohio. Joe assisted the Deputy Chief of Law Enforcement in the management and direction of over 50 sworn police officers, as well as being responsible for the overall management and direction of hundreds and civilian staff members. His responsibilities included oversight, management of a $6.5 million budget, the special events program, fleet and capital expense management, and extensive personnel management, the management development and recruiting. His resume speaks for himself, and this was a very condensed version of Joe. And let me say, he has already been a great asset to our department, and he's hit the ground running.
Welcome aboard.
Yes.
I forget the date that I swore him in. Do you know?
November 18th.
That's right, now I remember. Okay, so November 18th, 2018, I swore Joe in. Again, as per, which I say this all the time, he's brought in through the chief and through the mayor, and 6 months from now, he will be brought forward to council for approval for permanency, okay? So we'll make sure that that occurs. I do not see anything in the minutes. I want to make sure we rectify that about removing him from the, what's the probationary pay period. He's still on probationary period, but to remove him from the probationary pay period, so as of November 18th, he should be removed from that and made paid accordingly. So I need a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman? Yay. Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakencole?
Yay.
Thank you. Again, welcome aboard.
Nice to meet you, Joe. Yes.
So again, that may be in the minutes somewhere else, but just to be safe for the auditors,
Yes,
we have
we'll
it.
make sure it's there.
Okay, thank you. You had something else, a couple other things, sir?
A couple things, council is already aware, just to officially announce that last Friday, we lost K-9 Milan to a medical condition that rears its head to larger breeds of dogs. We did have a necropsy done, and we found that our initial suspicions were correct. I'm not sure the legal terms and medical terms, but it's basically bloat. What happens is dog stomachs, for no apparent reason, they will flip. When they flip, their body cavity gets filled with air, and basically it cuts off the ability to breathe. So, it's a tough loss for not only the department, but Sergeant Gigic and his family, and I'd ask you guys keep him in your thoughts and prayers moving forward. The next thing, I'd like to announce to council that downstairs, next to the water fountain, we have got a prescription drug return. So people can come year-round and drop their unused and unwanted medications off at the police department. We received this drug box through a cooperation with the Jefferson County Prevention and Recovery Board, and we are looking forward to more endeavors now that we've crossed our first hurdle together. But thanks to them, we got the box, we got it designed, and it's downstairs whenever you guys get a chance to view it.
And that's for year-round collection.
That's for year-round collections, and what will happen, just as we've done since I took over, is we will collect them all year round, and twice a year when we work in conjunction with the DEA for the prescription drug take-back days, which they hold twice a year, we will then take them to the next collection site and date.
When's the next one coming on up? That's been a successful program.
Absolutely.
I know you used to do it up at Respecs.
Yes.
Do you have a date and location for the next one?
Yes, I do. It will be in April. They typically have them at the end of April. And in October, we started a new partnership with Value Leader Pharmacy on Luray Drive, and we actually held the event there this past October. So we have already found a new location. They've welcomed us with open arms. So we look forward to continuing the program with them. And that's all I have.
Thank you. You have in your packet the police report for the month of November. $5,968.66 brought into the village. Village received of that $4,871.20. The state $987.96, and other was a $109.50. You see monies collected for old fines in the next two pages. $483 for the month of November, for a total of $19,998 for the year. You have the police report, you have 172 complaints, 332 incoming calls, 14 accidents, 14 cases, 18 alarms, 18 juvenile cases, 44 arrests, 5 other arrests, 13 parking violations, 12 vehicle impounds, 4 out-of-town assistance, auxiliary hours, 15. You have also the code enforcement report, 18 licenses for $900 and 11 permits for $440, $1,340. FYI, so in case you haven't heard, our code enforcement officer, Mr. Strzok, is going to be retiring at the end of June. So just an informational. So we'll probably look for a replacement April, May timeframe so they can work with Officer Strzok for a couple months prior to taking full duty.
Is there a list of requirements for that job somewhere?
There's no real list of requirements. Usually it's a part-time job and pretty much trained on the job. So if you have any history of code enforcements or legal matters, knowing the law, you know what I mean, it's always a plus. I mean, if we could find a retired police officer that would do it, that'd be awesome, because they seem to work a little bit better with the residents, understanding that there's some police involvement behind them. So we'll see what's available. It's a difficult one to fill because we only work 3 days a week. It's part-time, and usually looking for someone that's retired.
Okay.
With Christmas and New Year's coming in the next 2 weeks, Christmas being on Tuesday, December 25th, the sanitation will change slightly. Those that have the Tuesday sanitation pickup days, they will be picked up a day early on Monday, December 24th, and also on Monday, December 31st. So that was put on the water bills, so we'll try to get that into the paper as well. I'd like to thank all those involved in the parade, especially the weather. It was another beautiful day. Those that participated, those that assisted, especially the police department, the public works, to provide safety, was excellent again this year. We thank you. And it just was a great weekend. The crowd was tremendous, and it was a lot of entries. I always say if we can do it within an hour, it's good. It was 59 minutes, so it worked out very well. So also like to thank Council President Merriman for covering my absence at the last meeting. I appreciate you jumping in at the last minute. And I will ask for an executive session to go over possible employee discipline at the end of the meeting. And also like to wish everyone out there, council, even you, Walt, okay, Denise, a Merry Christmas, a safe and Happy New Year. I think this again was another great, successful year. It has been, my pleasure to work with each and every one of you. Randy, good first year. Looking for next year to be just as awesome as this one. So
Thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody. And again, ask everybody to be safe, be careful, and enjoy yourself with friends and family as best you can. Thank you. Administration.
First request I have is for $413 for change orders for the restroom project. There were some electrical changes, a drainage change, some additional concrete. All that work has been completed. They were putting in some of the partitions in the restroom today. It is just about ready to wrap up, probably by next week. They will. They had very little, just some minor carpentry work to finish up. They may be waiting for a final inspection from the state also, but it is nearly wrapped up. But I do need motion to pay those extras.
Motion be in order to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman? Yay. Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakenkall?
Yay.
We have received the PTI from EPA for the Phase 4 sewer project. We're still waiting on the funding for that to come in. If anything, we would bid it late summer, early fall. There may be one other grant we go after, which may push it a little further next year. So that one's a little bit in the
You said
future.
4. Do you mean 4
No,
or
I'm
5?
sorry, 5.
Okay, 5. Okay.
It is 5, correct. 4 is nearly complete.
Okay.
I'd also like request permission to have it in a minute to advertise for bids for the Knowles 2 water line project. The two of the three grants are still in Washington, D.C., the agreements. We do have the one from Columbus from Public Works, but I just want to be ready in case those come after the first of the year that we can advertise and get that going.
Motion to advertise for the Knowles to Water project.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman? Yay. Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Okay, Phase 4 sewer project, our consultant has requested the closeout documents from the contractor. There's probably about 8 to 10 of them. The one we're waiting on is the record drawings, where there was any changes on those, the as-built, as they're called. And as soon as those are received, he will release request for payment for the last payment. They do have a 1-year warranty on the repairs, and there's probably a handful of punch list items because of the weather, some trees, some grass, some stone that will be completed next spring, again, depending upon the weather, but we do have a list of all of those. I have 2 requests for equipment here at the end of the year. We talked about at the finance meeting. First is a 2-ton asphalt hot box for $25,500, and then a Bomag asphalt roller for $17,850. As was said, we had been renting one for quite a while, several years, and practically the annual rent, we can buy a new one that's slightly larger. The other thing is, during the summer, we buy the hot mix, $60 a ton. This will keep it heated. If there is rain or something, we won't have to just dump the hot mix and lose it. This will keep it heated for 48 hours. Right now, the cold mix price, which is why we're buying this, so we can heat the cold mix for the winter months, roll it in. Cold mix is $89.50 a ton. Quite a difference. It's been hovering around $95. Actually, it's come down a little bit, but that's still 50% more than the hot mix price. And these will make our streets look much better, having hot mix or hot cold mix to heat it up, put it down, and properly roll it in.
We have been looking for years for a resolution to every winter when we have these potholes and we fill them with cold patch and they come up, we refill them again. We had been looking at different equipment in the past, and the range is between $125,000 to $300,000. This is a new piece of equipment that is out. I think this will basically pay for itself just in manpower and time. And constantly the battle I have every winter is the same potholes that we keep fixing and fixing and fixing. This is going to resolve that and help. And I think this here, this really will, the residents will be happy with this. The other thing that happens is in the winter, when they put the cold patch in, and I hear this all the time, the guys, they overload it, let the cars run it over to pack it down, and the cars are bumping all around, and I get complaints about that. So really, by having this device, heating the cold patch up to be warm, and with us actually using the roller, it'll all be smoother. It's not going to be perfect, you know what I mean, because we don't have the equipment to cut and make squares and make it exactly perfect, but it'll go a long way. I think in resolving issues that we just continue to work over and over and over on. And I think it'll be a real plus to the village. So I'm looking for council to approve these 2 items tonight. So a motion be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman? Yay. Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Thank you.
2 remaining items. We've discussed it several times at the budget committee, and but we have a enhanced health insurance plan, and we need council approval on that to move forward.
So basically what we're asking for you to approve tonight is the change in structure to the health care payout that we deal with. Currently, we have a $3,000 and $6,000 deductible for employees. We pay the first 50% of that deductible, and they pay the remainder. The cost of health care, if we were to stay under that same plan, was going to go up $60,000, which would be a major hit to the budget. What we brought forward is we will increase the deductibles from $3,000 to $6,000 and from $6,000 to $12,000. From that, we will, instead of doing the 50% upfront and then them paying the other 50, we'll do a 70-30 split. So from the first claim, the village will pay 30%, the employees will pay 30%. From that, we believe at the worst, it'll cost us maybe $20,000 more for the employees themselves. They will pay, actually, if they used it all, they will actually see no increase at all in their out-of-pocket. They'll actually save because our current plan has a copay after the deductible of $1,000, which will no longer exist. And it also has inside it some of their level 1 and level 2 prescriptions they had to pay for. Here they will pay not for any level 1 and a very reduced fee, I think, for 2. And then it'll be level 3, I think, is like at a $30 cap, something like that. So for the most part, we believe this is a better plan. And again, just like any healthcare plan that we're all involved in, if you have to use it, it's a great thing to have. If you don't and you end up using it a little bit, it's going to cost you a little bit. But I think it's the best for the village and the employees, as a whole. So again, we continue to look for ways to save on health care. Unfortunately, we have a very high risk group in the last couple of years. We hopefully to see that be lowered here in the next year or so these rates can come down. But we believe this is the best approach at this time. So a motion be in order to approve the new approval rate, the plan of the higher deductibles, and then 70-30 basically employee, company, the village/employee share.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman? Yay. Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Last item I have is in years past, I'd like to get council approval to have an employee luncheon on Christmas Eve and to provide gift cards to all the employees.
Motion be in order to approve not to exceed 500 on the party.
Correct.
Did you say that? I'm not sure.
I did not say
Okay.
that, no.
Okay.
Not to exceed 500?
On the actual party, and what's the gift card?
$25.
$25 per gift card. Motion be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman? Yay. Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
When's that? What
Monday,
time?
24th at
Noon?
Yeah, please, everybody's invited. If you can show up, that'd be great. The employees would love it.
I got one question for you, Walt.
Yes.
On the new equipment, do we have to make room in our garages so all that stuff fits in? or-
Yeah, and I believe you saw the pictures there the other night. Neither
Yeah.
one is that big. We will do some shifting around. They've already cleaned up the newer garage to allow for some space, so we'll get it inside.
It needs to be inside.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Would you just go out and get the cold patch or
We
when you
already
needed it?
we already have a stockpile of it
Where at?
down near the salt bin.
By the salt.
It's, again, that's another issue. We always have trouble getting it in the winter.
Yeah.
So we've actually purchased a surplus supply of it. So there should be more than enough to get through this year. How much we buy? Five times more than we used last year?
Yeah,
So again, there's more than enough because I don't want to be in a position we can't locate it. It especially wasn't a bad price. Any other questions? Seeing none. Any old business? Unfinished business?
none.
None. New business. Mr. Spence.
No new business, just to welcome Joe on the police force, which he's already out there working, which is good, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Ms. Foreman.
I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Ms. Jean
Glad to
Angel.
be back.
Ms. Jean Angel.
No.
Mr. Merriman.
Just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Matter.
Number one with big stars next to it. Welcome back, Phyllis. Pleasure to have back. Second of all, my hat's off to the budget committee, Brad and Bob. I had an outpatient medical surgery procedure done on Monday, so I was unable to attend the budget meeting on Monday. I will say over my years, though, the budget's still pretty complicated, but Bob and the committee are now pretty used to the process. Art's used to the process. Walt's, helps out with the process, and the administration's been more than supportive too. So even though it's still challenging every year to make sure every nickel is put where we hope it to go, It's been going a little bit smoother than it has over the past couple of years, and it's basically because Bob, the administration, and Walt and Art coming prepared. So hats off to the budget committee in my absence. The Christmas tree light, did we have a date for that? On the,
It was on my list and I forgot about it.
well,
Thank you for
is there
bringing it
a
up.
date for the Christmas?
Yes,
light,
it'll be this
Jerry?
weekend.
This
Okay?
weekend?
So I ask everyone to go out this weekend. In your packet, you'll see the winners for the past so many years. I ask that you please not pick anybody that's won in the last 3 years. So if you look at that and provide to Tammy by 12 o'clock Monday, like 5 or 6 picks, like first to sixth that you would pick. Again, reason being is if you all pick the same one, it's hard to give out more than one winner. So if you could please actually look at the lights this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, and give that to Tammy by noon on Monday.
At the
Okay?
Christmas party would be good.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Do we have, the tree that's fallen down, the branches at the end of Meadow Road? Is that us that's taking care of that, or?
It's any councilman that lives on Meadow.
Okay, I'm in then.
Okay.
I got me and Jane, I'm ready to roll. Do
look
we
at
have,
I'll look at it. That's,
I don't know
that's
exactly.
in the cul-de-sac?
It's not in the cul-de-sac, it is at the other end, like the entrance of the
As you're
Meadow.
coming in, on the left or right.
It's on the right-hand
Okay.
side across from the park.
I believe that's all on private property, but I will.
Is it hanging over?
No, it's like it fell down,
It is all on private property, and the people that live there typically, they travel a lot, so we'll probably get their name from the water department to give them a call to get that addressed.
yeah, listen,
Is it
I
on the
didn't know-
road?
No.
It's not on the road?
No, it's not on the road.
Okay.
It's fell down. I didn't know if we was part of that or not, but it sounds like Art's on top of that.
Saves you again?
And then, condolences to the police department, the Jezik family, about the passing of Milan. And Merry Christmas to all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Degenkolb.
No new business. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, safe travels, and that's all I have.
Thank you. I think we have one transfer per the audit.
We do. It's a reclassification from the audit for the sewer replacement fund in the amount of $12,774.97. They just moved money, they just reclassified it.
From one budget group to another.
Yep.
So a motion be in order to approve that per the auditors.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Thank you. Motion to go into executive session for possible employee discipline.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mrs. Foreman?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Motion adjourned until January 3rd, 7 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, meeting adjourned.